health awareness remains top of mind for many, it's important that international students understand how to go about seeking help when they need to. There are a variety of avenues available, and sometimes it's difficult knowing where to start. Today, we're joined by Dr. Xuhua Qin, a licensed psychologist and multicultural specialist who will provide insight into the various treatment options available and offer a step-by-step guide for how and when to go about seeking treatment. Dr. Qin, thank you so much for joining us today and providing us with your guidance and expertise in this area. Would you mind sharing a little bit more about your background working with international populations and what really inspired you to work in this field with international students specifically?
Thank you, Sally, for inviting me to be here. I'm very excited to talk about this topic, mental health and international students, help seeking. So this topic is very dear to my heart because I was international student myself. To be more precise, and I was born and grew up in Beijing, China. I decided to pursue my PhD in the US. After my graduation, I decided to stay in the US to continue my job as a licensed psychologist. So reflecting back, and to be honest, if I did not pursue counseling psychology as my major, I probably won't be able to highly aware of how going through a transition as an international student can really impact a person's mental well-being. Nor did I could seek professional help when I'm managing the emotional difficulties. So back then, as a lot of other international students, I believed that if I encounter some difficulties, that means that I'm not doing enough. In that case, I need to just continue put down my head, work harder, do not complain, rely on my perseverance, and pull through. But as time goes by, with my increased knowledge about psychology, mental health, help seeking, and all that, I gradually understand more. Sometimes having difficulties is not about being lazy or not strong enough. Doing more, be able to pull people through. A lot of time, mental well-being is a condition. Without that, a person cannot really study efficiently or meaningfully as they do if they have a good mental health. So that increased awareness really helped me to gradually pave my path to work for international students, or at least continue promoting mental well-being among international students, addressing stigma related to mental health issues, helping international students to better address and provide treatment for people who have the mental health concerns. In my career, I have been working in different university counseling centers across the state for more than 15 years, with the most latest experience working for Tufts University Counseling and Mental Health Services for 9 years. I'm also the collaborating faculties with the MGH Center for Cross-Culture Student Emotional Wellness. With all this experience, particularly in my work doing individual therapy, group therapy, couples therapy, workshops, social support group, or my personal connections in community, I have the privilege of connecting to thousands of international students and listen to and witness their unique and personal, sometimes universal journeys to the US. Now, since I'm transit to be therapist locally in the private practice, I also be able to work with individuals that beyond school and for people who decided to continue going into the workforce or at different stage of their immigration status. So I continue my journey with them. And so with that said, I'm really, feel honored to be invited here to share some of my thoughts and, really provide some resources here. And so that for people who would like to, especially international students who who would like to and need to connect with counseling, they know how to do that.
I love hearing how your pursuit in studying psychology led to a lot of personal awareness and emotional growth for yourself. And since then, it sounds like you've worked in so many different areas and really gained a lot of knowledge from that. I know the MGH Center for Cross-Cultural Emotional Wellness is a really great resource and great for international populations. We've worked with them in the past, and we really appreciate all that you do and all of your insight. So moving on a little bit, could you tell us a little more as to why it is important to seek treatment or talk to someone about emotional wellness specifically for those international students?
Unlike mental well-being, emotional well-being is less talked in many cultures. So, for a lot of international students, this concept can even be new. They haven't really heard about that before they came to the US. So with that unfamiliarities, sometimes people don't realize, sometimes people can get sick emotionally, and there's also treatment for that. That's why I'm glad we are talking about this topic. International students in general really facing a lot of unique challenges. Just to name a few, and international students trying to really managing a very different diet system and trying to studying and performing in a second language, trying to connect, making friends with people who from different cultural backgrounds and may have different communication styles, interpersonal styles. So all this are creating unique challenges and changes for them to tackle. And you can imagine, this could be tackling all these challenges at once. Could be very overwhelming. Not to say, international students are so far away from their home, from their original support system. It is hard for them to seek help when their support system are so far away. Not to say a lot of times they may not be able to connect to their support system. So the current pandemic situation is one of the very vivid example for people who are not be able, to connect with their support system. So with all this factor, make the international students more susceptible to academia, physical and emotional difficulties, or make some pre-existing condition worse.